everybody. I'm glad that you can join us for this conversation today. As it was introduced, what we're talking about today is social equity stories, what worked, what didn't work. And today we want to just kick this off by allowing our guests to take a couple of minutes to just tell us about your company, what you do, where you're located. Let's get to know you for a couple of minutes. We can just start in order with Leah.
Sounds great. Good afternoon. Nice to see everyone. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it a lot. I am Leah Bailey. I'm CEO of Blounts and More, also Market 96, which is our dispensaries. And my background is a consumer products executive most of my life. Got into cannabis about 5 years ago, and I'm very, very fortunate that about 5 months ago, I joined Blounts and More. And Blounts and More is a social equity applicant in Illinois with 6 dispensary licenses and 2 grows.
And hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tahir Johnson. I'm the founder and CEO of Simply Pure Trenton. We are an adult use cannabis dispensary in my hometown of Trenton, New Jersey. And we were the first Black-owned social equity company to receive our dispensary license in the state of New Jersey. And now I'm on the road to get my doors open for the end of the year. Thank you, thank you. And I've been in the cannabis industry for the past 5 years now, mostly in advocacy, working on diversity, inclusion, and social equity. And I'm thankful for this opportunity and to share with you all today and to share the stage with these wonderful ladies and Ernest.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Benzinga and Ernest, for having me here. This is a great opportunity to speak about our work in social equity. My name is Annu, Khot, and I'm the founder of Sociale Dispensary. It's a social equity dispensary based out of Park Ridge, Illinois. We are social equity by employment, which means we are mandated to have 51% of our employees from communities that have been impacted by war and drugs, and the DIA communities that has been defined by DFPR. This journey has been incredible. I'm two-time founder, but nothing prepared me to become a cannabis founder, and I've had so many learnings, and I'm excited to share my experience and journey with you today.
All right, well, thank you all. Let's just jump right into it. What struck me is that all of our guests here, our panelists here, are at different stages in their journey. So Leah is a CEO of a business that is operational. Annu, actually also operational. You open up your doors just...
We are a month old now.
Okay. And Tahir, you're expecting you're expecting to open up how soon?
Yeah, by the end of the year for sure, hopefully by the end of November.
Okay. So I'm interested in learning a little bit about some of the challenges that you have each faced over the past year, and also with getting your doors open. I knew you were starting to talk about some of them. Can you just share that with us?
Sure. With Illinois, I can't speak for other states, but for Illinois, the barriers to entry is really high in terms of even having a social equity license, which means you have to prove your social equity status, and even if you put together a brilliant application, you need to have luck by your side. So good luck beating that odd. Even once you acquire a license, there are so many other factors. Hello? Okay, there's so many other factors that come into play, and which is location. You have to have a brilliant location that you can benefit, people can access to it, there is visibility. Compliance is another challenge. You have to have some sort of an expert in your team that can make sure that your security protocol, your inventory protocol, everything is on top of it. Community engagement, this is something that I learned. I never had a LinkedIn account before, and it has just been 2 years old, and I realized you need to engage with the cannabis community, because this is how you can make your presence felt, and you need to share your story so that people who want to walk in that path can also learn from your journey.
All right, well, thank you. Tahir, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? I know you've been in the industry for a long time, and this has been a long time coming, but within New Jersey, what have been some of the challenges over the past year?
Sure. So, I would start even before New Jersey, taking it back a bit, because this I was thankfully blessed to win the license this time around, but it was actually my third time applying for a license. So I applied for licenses in 2019, both of them in medical markets, and it's highly competitive, right? So I think the first thing that I always want people to take away from my story is a story of perseverance. This is incredibly hard. I think I heard a saying once that it takes 5 years to become an overnight success. So now I have a lot of relationships and people know me now, but it was the work that went up to getting there. So like Annu said, being able to tell your story, build your community, have people that know you, and also paying it forward, lifting as you climb, even as you're trying to get to your destination, as you bring other people along with you and your story resonates with them, you're building your community and you're building people that will support you. But I think one of the things, a lot of the challenges that you'll actually encounter, I think we all hear panels, like I've talked about it a bunch of times, that we all know about the challenges of getting capital, right? We all know about how hard it can be to get a license. But as I'm finding, when you get through this, there are other hurdles that you don't even know you'll get through. One of them for me in particular has been the construction aspect of it. What I think you don't realize, there's so many different hurdles just on the cannabis business side alone, but when you're building something, a lot of what you're doing is a commercial real estate project. So if you don't have experience and background in that, it took a lot of learning to get there. And I think the advice that a lot of people told me coming in was, this is going to take longer than you thought, and it's going to cost more than you thought. And I thought I would be the unicorn and be the first one that would open on time and under budget. But the reality is I'm still sitting here waiting for my doors to be open in November. But like I said, I also shared that there's such a blessing in the things that I've learned and the relationships that I've gotten from this. So again, going back to that, the adversity, just always continuing to learn, build, and get back up and do it tomorrow and do it again has been, I think, probably one of the most valuable things for me.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's great. Leah, I'm interested, could you share some of the challenges that you have experienced? Your role is a little bit different coming in as a CEO, in a little less than half a year, but you've been managing managing a brand that has several licenses and several locations. What have been some of the challenges for you in this space?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very lucky that the people who were working on this, the Blounts and More team, working on this for 2 to 3 years before I got here. So they did all of the heavy lifting, and a lot of the things that you were talking about were already done. What's interesting to me is I'm a consumer products person. The consumer market for cannabis is so unbelievably good. And my first position in cannabis was in Michigan. At that point, they were throwing money at us. And obviously, it was a whole different world. So now to be in a market like Illinois that has such an incredible following from a consumer side and such an amazing upside, and have the difficulty of the financing that we're having is really frustrating. And I know every industry goes through its cycles, and hopefully this will come back. But the business is really in great shape. So I hope that more and more people will realize that and support us as we try to expand our businesses. And I think, bring businesses that really will help people by having more and more jobs. We're trying very, very hard to have a large percentage of the craft grow product in Illinois so that we walk the walk. When we have our own craft grows, we will do everything we can to employ as many people who are diverse as we possibly can. So I really hope that the industry helps finance these efforts that I think are going to give back to the community in the way it was intended.
So, we've talked a little bit about some of the challenges, and I'm interested in knowing now about some of the successes that you've had. I've heard, funding, being mentioned as a barrier, but I know that you were successful in raising, was it $3 million earlier this year?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about what that journey looked like, and also what other type of successes you've experienced?
Sure. Funding is definitely a big challenge in cannabis industry. You need to be a salesperson, that's for sure. Otherwise, knocking on the doors will humble you. What I did differently was I was going to people with money, but they didn't have my worldview. And after knocking so many doors, I realized that I need to approach people who share my worldview and then ask for money. And I was able to raise $3 million for my second dispensary, and we are now raising money for my third dispensary. Apart from funding, the other successes I would say is finding right people. And that also took some amount of trial and error, but find a right mentor in this business, especially for me, if you are in retail, then find someone who has built dispensaries before. Do not go with any other person or people who say they're industry expert and bring nothing to the table. Just be very mindful and intentional with who you are going. Have advisors on your board, and then just learn every day.
Well, thank you. Tahir or Leah, could you share some of the successes that you've had over the past year or so?
Sure. So one of the, I think one of the things that has helped me to be the most successful, and I find is critical when you start talking about investments or business, has been first mover advantage. So my company, we were one of the first 11 companies to get our retail license last year when they started giving out conditional licenses, and then also one of the first to get the annual license, and the first social equity to get the annual license. So I think now, when I look at, with me being able to raise capital last year, part of it was because, there were 11 dispensaries approved versus now there's hundreds approved. And so being able to be there early in the game certainly made a difference. But I'll say, for me, one of the biggest, one of the biggest things is, I guess I'll start with a saying, your reputation is everything, and to protect it and guard it. Because a lot of people had seen me, known me in the industry, knew my story, how I was working. And I think, like Annu said also, that value system was something that resonated with people. That was the biggest thing. If people know who you are and what you're about before you go into a room, or like your actions or background, that will speak much louder than anything you can say. So I always say, keep that in mind. Another saying, like I started off as a bud tender when I came into this industry in 2019. So it's also treating everybody with respect, right? Because that person who's making minimum wage or that's helping you today may be the person that is the executive or someone else tomorrow. So it's those values, treating everyone the way you want to be treated, with kindness, with respect. Integrity. I think integrity is the greatest value that you can have, and that's one of the things that I've learned, and that I refuse to compromise. Because I think in this industry, we'll all find people, yes, there are bad actors out there. Yes, somebody may even do you dirty one day. But when you can come back and say, I'm going to continue to move with my value system, do what I know is correct, and that people can trust you and know that you're going to do that and also make good decisions, I think that goes a long way.
Thank you. I love that. Leah, I'm going to ask you the same question. What have been some successes that you've experienced in your role, but that you've also seen for the brand since stepping in to oversee it?
Thank you. Well, the biggest success, of course, was opening our doors. All of the planning that I didn't have all of it behind me, but all the people that did plan so much to actually be there and see them with this dispensary open, and the people coming and buying the products and having the variety of products, as I mentioned, that we have. And my favorite part is seeing the people who work there. The people who work in our dispensary, we have a real focus on customer service. We're trying to do things differently. And every time I walk into the store, the attitude of our team is just incredible. So to me, that's the biggest success, is that we were able to bring people who really wanted to be part of the Market 96 value system also to the forefront, and to open a store that I think we can be incredibly proud of, and hopefully we'll have 5 more that are just like it in their own way.
Yeah. Now, what I love is that we have 3 success stories up here on stage, right? And there's a lot of folks out there who are interested in getting to where you are. So there's a lot that you can share. I know that a lot of times in business, it can be really valuable to have a mentor to help navigate people through pitfalls so they don't have to experience them themselves, right? Now, when it comes to paying it forward, like for social equity, what are some of the goals, the plans that you have over the next year? Or what are you actively doing right now to uplift the communities where you are?
For us, for Sociale Dispensary, we were intentional since 2019 that our company will be social equity through employment, and that's how we have kept our promise and including those communities in our business and making sure that they're part of our economic system and taking advantage of the profit that our company makes is our goal of paying it forward in this state. Thank you.
And for me, I think part of what I've done is try to take a local and global approach to my business at the same time, being very much rooted in with the local organizations, places where I grew up, but also, for example, my good friends from 40 Tons brand, they do an amazing job fair and they're good, they're people that I'm fans of, the example of what I think we should see in the industry. So I brought them to New Jersey to do their job fair that they did. Another thing that I did was I'm partnered with New Jersey's Reentry Corporation, and I've made a commitment to hire employees from there and also giving back money from the company. Thank you. But one of the things that I was really most proud about is one of my childhood friends who was working in the legacy market had my team support him as well to get his license, as well as the same investors that I found to invest in my business, they invested in his business as well. And it wasn't something I got a dollar for, any equity for, so just really paying it forward. I know that I've been blessed to have so much success and everything in this industry that I wanted to share that. Because I think especially as somebody who's been in advocacy for a long time, I've been up here on panels myself talking about what other companies should do and how they give back. And so I thought it was important for me to actually walk the walk right out of the gate. So like I said, that lifting as I climb and I think that's something that we all can embody and do. Because I'll tell you, I think in cannabis, everybody talks about there's millions or even billions of dollars to be made, but that also means that there's a little bit to go around for everybody, right? And if you think about it with that community mind, again, I talk in a lot of old sayings, because these are the values my parents instilled in me. My grandmother would always say, you don't get anything with a closed fist, right? So, sometimes when you're giving back and people seeing those things, those are the same things that have helped me to become successful. So sometimes giving up 1%, you get back 10 in return. And so that's just what I would kind of offer.
So I think it's a couple of things. Again, I think it's really important in Illinois that we do support the craft growers who are social equity as well. So I think that's one thing that we've tried very hard to do, and again, walking the walk. I think the fact that we're a new organization and we have opportunities for people, so somebody who maybe had no place to go in another organization, there's a lot of opportunity within our organization. So that's something that we hope to offer a lot of opportunity to people in the industry. And then the other thing that is my experience in the cannabis industry is it has really been, for the most part, one of the most giving entities that I've ever been part of. Everyone tries to help everyone. It's been amazing to me how people have really been generous with their time. So I think all of us at Blounts & More, me in particular, of course, would always be happy to help anyone. And I think that I've found people that would always talk to me if there was some issue or something I was going through. As a startup, that's critical. You have to have people who have expertise that you don't have. So I think not only have I been fortunate to have people who have helped me, but I very much hope that I can do the same thing for other people coming up.
So we're approaching the end of our time here. So could each of you just let everyone know how they can follow you, how they can reach you if they want to continue a conversation?
You can follow, you can get on our website. It's www.socialedispensary.com. And our Instagram handle is enjoysocial. We are located at Park Ridge, 10 minutes away from O'Hare, so feel free to stop by and shop. Thank you.
And you guys can find me on social media, on LinkedIn or Facebook. It's the government name, Tahir Johnson. On Instagram, Twitter, etc. is Todd Diddy, so you can find me there. And then also Simply Pure Trenton is on every platform. Appreciate your support and look us up and stop by if you're ever in New Jersey.
So I'm so glad you asked that question because my marketing manager is sitting right here in front saying, please, please say market-96.com. And we are the same on Instagram and on LinkedIn and throughout, what am I missing? Facebook, sorry. But we'd love for you to follow us. We're trying to create a community. We'd love to have you come to Oswego and visit us. But please do follow us at market96.com.
All right. Hey, thank you everybody for attending. We have to take off now, and thank you to Benzinga for giving us this opportunity to have this conversation today. Bye.